Yo, it is Thursday night. What up, YouTube? Welcome to the Hi There Show. My name is Nick Brunt. It is Live Design Thursdays. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Ian Conrad.
Hi there. Hi there, Nick. Back after a little hiatus.
Yeah, we're back from a little hiatus. You were on assignment. We were on assignment investigating new UIs that no one has ever heard of.
The
international places.
Secret. It's like a user interface summit, but a secret one.
Oh yeah, the Secret Internet Summit.
Secret Internet Summit that only certain people knew.
Only people
that needed
with
to know.
$400 conference tickets know about.
It's on a need-to-know basis.
I'm here to change the game up. I'm here to shuffle up the deck. You probably think I'm famous because I got a blue check.
Hi, what is up? We're here. We're streaming. We're in Figma tonight. I think we're gonna work on some prototypes. I think we were talking about. I've been prototyping a lot lately, and would love to carve out an hour and a half to continue messing with it. What do you think?
That sounds like fun to me, Nick. Love to do some prototyping. And
how prototypical is that?
And prototyping, and as we go, maybe some design feedback and stuff. We've been talking about that. The give and take, how to give feedback, how to take it, how to receive it, how to ask for it.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say. I think that's an interesting topic. You've been talking about that lately. I've been thinking about it lately too. Talking about the topic. I've been in some different and then I've been in different meetings and just thinking about it. And it's just like I've had to present things, and so I've thought about it differently. I've noticed other people sharing stuff and kind of thinking like, what do they want from me? Like what feedback is helpful? Because especially if you're in a time crunch.
A very important point. We'll get to that. We'll get to the exciting world of feedback. But let's dive into what we're gonna do here. What do you want to prototype? What are you thinking about?
Did you have something in mind? I made like this weird accordion thing that's not that cool.
I've been trying to do. Maybe you can help me solve a Figma prototype mystery that I can solve. I'll lay it out for you. Make it frame.
Tell me.
Frame
give me the brief.
56.
We need an
So here's what I
interstitial that
want.
pops up. It's just like the brief.
The brief. And we'll just use stock footage of like angry business people. We should get stock footage of angry business people involved in the show in a more broader sense anyway. But yeah, here's my problem. I'm building a component. Oh, hold on. Can we get this involved with our bird market?
Let's get a big mystery icon.
Only the strongest survive.
Well, I gotta make this smaller so it fits in our view frame. Because remember, we've got two views going. The one that the audience is seeing is relegated to that. It is a frying pan with a perfectly round omelet in the middle of it.
What's this frying pan? You do enough user testing, and eventually someone calls the search icon a frying pan.
Yeah. Have you really been in a feedback session where somebody calls it a frying pan?
No,
this is huge.
No. You have to do with thousands, I would hope.
It's the kind of thing where you make a search icon and you're like, it'd be cool if it was tilted, and then you do a feedback session with the client and they go, this frying pan concept is interesting. Like, how do you see that fitting into our brand? And we gotta go, no. Can we get this magnifying glass over here? We make sort of a sleepy thing. Yeah, that's working. Okay, so here's the problem here's the problem I want to solve. I want to make a flexible component. I want to make a flexible button as a component so that when I move it around the site, I can put any label in it. So meaning the component grows or shrinks, depending on the size of the word. I can actually probably bang that together right now and show everyone what I'm talking about.
Let's have a look.
So I'll make a text field inside of a frame. center that. We can use our alignment controls. I guess the audience can't see that, but we'll center it in this box. We'll call this buttons, and then we'll add an auto layout in Figma. Damn, see, look at this solve someday. It would be cool if everything was
yeah.
An auto layout.
We're doing an auto layout, people.
So this is an auto layout. I am
Automatically laying it out.
Right, so we have
I'm a big button. I like big buttons and I cannot lie.
So let's make this button. Come on.
That's like at a meeting at work where you like try and like rattle one off and it's like ooh.
Everyone's just sort of
Am I on mute? No one hear that note?
Well, you get busted trying to make a laugh, trying to get a laugh, and they're like, I'm not giving it to this guy. So we have an auto layout going anyway, so let's put an icon in here just for the hell of it. We'll make a box.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! He's bringing out the box.
He's getting
Let's bring in a box.
Man, he's throwing a. Well, you might as well just make it a monkey wrench icon because that's what you're throwing into this component.
Wow. Another good meeting move. So you'll notice when I drop this into my auto layout that I've just created, it wants to snap around the type, and this is the cool thing about auto layout, right? So you can imagine this is an icon in our layout. I'll adjust some spacing on here really quick, so I'll adjust the margins like that. Spacing's all messed up, bro. Cool, we get a button with an icon, and I can change it. So anytime that I need to reference this button, let's go one step further. What's your favorite? Do you like this blue, like sort of an ocean blue, or more of like sort of an inky blue? I like kind of a teal blue.
I like that personally. I guess, yeah. I'm always wondering how the contrast is good enough, but it doesn't matter for our purposes. I think that looks nice.
Oh, let's make it really nice.
Because it's been surprising me lately when I've been picking some colors and it's like, this doesn't cross accessibility test.
Well, contrast, right? I mean, there are...
But
Sorry?
I was going to say, I looked into it a bit more and it's like, TLDR, the way that it's using like a system of like math to calculate whether it passes or not for the contrast. So sometimes stuff actually does look pretty good, but it still fails. So yeah, so it's like if it looks like it should be good, but it's not. Still have to. I've been trying to use a lot more emojis.
I'm working with a team that uses a lot of emojis lately, and I'm getting into it. It's pretty fun. Okay, so we have a button.
Alright.
Let's round the corners for this board.
That looks nice. Yeah, nice safe corners. So, cut yourself out.
Yeah, it's school safe. So we've got a rounded button in Figma, and we can do whatever we want with it. So okay, we'll create.
Now
a
that we're
component.
competing with those amateurs, we can't afford to invest in little
add a
extras
variant.
like story, production value.
And we'll give this one a difference.
New technology permits us to do
No, I
very
don't want
exciting things in interactive
So
entertainment.
what's our task?
So here,
again?
okay, we did the button.
What's
Herein
up,
lies the issue. This is
All I'm
important.
saying is,
I
No,
want
it's not boring.
I want to have a white film happen in this component. So yeah. Take a vector. Using Smart Animate, when somebody hovers this button, I want the background and the text color to change, and that happens here.
While traveling in Europe in June 1969.
You want that to like wash over it?
Wash under it, and the text color changes. So the text color is easy because we can just select any color text in that variant. Yes, I know. I feel like you and I kind of want to do a Figma show that's informative for people, but now we're so deep in the weeds, you know. But yeah, that's my thought. So here's the problem. I keep saying so. With the auto layout on this component, right? Like this component is a frame, so it can have content in the background. But with the auto layout, I can't actually change anything about it or clip anything in that frame because it wants to add it to the auto layout.
Trips to the moon.
So my first thought was, let's nest another frame inside of this thing.
How do you think
you know, because then the transition happens in the frame, which is in the background of this thing. But then you're losing the flexibility of the component, because how do you make that frame grow without the auto layer?
Live from Oakland, California.
Right? So for the audience, I'll explain really quickly. The reason that you use this kind of stuff in Figma is because it's very portable. So I have one component in my file, and as I'm working on things, I just spawn other versions of that component. So now this becomes home, and this becomes contact, and on and on and on ad nauseum. I can even make variations of that component where, say, we don't have cache face in there, and then I can change that variant, and it happens on the fly. It's very convenient and allows you to bang together layouts that you can change in a way that's more holistic, like working on a website.
Are you ready to talk to your
Still though, Ian, how do I do what I described? Because I'm dying to figure it out.
So, do you know how to do the animation part of it? Like, if the auto layout, you said that if you do it, the auto layout breaks, but you know how to do that part of it? Can you get that part of it set up?
Yep. So, okay, I might actually.
That's where I would start. I don't know how else to.
Let's do a new one.
And then we can try and see what we got. What do you got?
What do you got tonight? Just show me. That's the theme to our design crits. So what kind of feedback do you? What kind of feedback are you getting lately? How you doing with that? Are people making suggestions about your ideas, and because you're a designer and a sensitive art type, you're flying off the handle and alienating people? Is that what's going on?
Well, a little on the nose there. Yeah, you know, just doing feedback sessions. I actually had had a little meeting, and I didn't get very much feedback. It was almost like, you know, you would say like, oh, that's great, they liked it, but you know, it's almost like just not enough. I think it was fine, but yeah, I just kind of wondered, like, just thinking, I should have, I don't know, what could I have done differently?
Well, so
solicit more feedback.
So that's what I've been learning lately. It's tough for us to talk about our job on stream, but I'm working with a rather large design team, or at least a team that is much larger than I'm used to now, and I've gotten a lot of feedback. I love collaborating with other designers and engineers and getting feedback this way, but we've been doing these crit sessions where, like, you're in a room with 15 people and they're all just, you present a design, and these 10 to 15 other design types are just offering critique.
Okay.
So on the surface, I think that that's very helpful because everybody has good feedback, but also I think what I've learned is I have to go to those sessions. Already having created an expectation about what I want feedback on. like you have to tell people what you want feedback on and what kind of critique you're looking for, or otherwise people just shell you with artillery until you're just exhausted and you leave the meeting ready to cry. I think that's a good point. That's what I've been thinking about lately. So taking feedback more seriously, like trying to take steps to generate feedback that I want, if that makes sense. Because otherwise I would just be like, hey, here's all my thoughts, let's collab. And what you end up with is a bunch of comments that might be good, but aren't taking context or the history of the file into consideration, and it maybe isn't as helpful.
Okay. Bullet points. Bullet points going in. To make sure I don't forget to ask about things. On one thing too, I guess, is I guess we kind of did a first round of feedback, like just via Teams, like chat. Yeah. I posted like just a big wall of like questions. And I guess
anyone
that
answer
kind of
a single one of them?
Yeah, someone just answered like all of them. And that was almost too good too. I guess it just was like a simple page, and the people I was working with kind of knew what they wanted, but it was just kind of funny. I was just like, no, give me something to change. I don't know how to wrap this file up. They're like, no, that's good.
And you're like, okay, good. You had.
But I guess that's kind of part of something that's coming out of the remote world a bit, is just like async. They call it like asynchronous meetings, where it's like we kind of had that was sort of like it was a chat, but it was kind of like having a meeting, but just across like several hours, slowly when people got to it.
Yeah.
It's weird. I just like the in-person meetings. I like chatting about stuff in person.
I think it's a mix of both.
And efficient.
The asynchronous stuff is cool. I find there's a bit of an arms race on Slack to see who can get their thing read the most. Like, it's not enough to just be like, hey, here's the link. Like, can I get your thoughts? Like, you have to produce a post, complete with emojis and bullet points and bolded text and like outlining exactly like, you know, again, here's the file, here's the type of feedback I want, like here's my update, here's my asynchronous update. Whereas in person, you can just explain it to their dumb faces. To their dumb, horrible faces.
It's dumb. It's hard. It's not hard, but it takes a long time to write out that, like, ask to go out there, like the async way. Like, it really takes quite, like, a little bit of prep.
I ran into that problem today, and it was like literally 45 minutes out of my day because I had to update a certain Slack channel. I had to prep it, I had to write it. I can't write it in Slack. I have to write it in Google Docs so I can use Grammarly.
Oh God, you
accidentally
sure.
Oh, no way.
No, you never write anything in the real place.
Yeah, you gotta write it somewhere else. You gotta write your messages somewhere else where you can be ashamed of yourself and then bring it to the table once you've read it 16 to 17 times. Because if you wrote that and put it in Slack and then you had to edit it and it says edited by your message title, you failed. And everyone knows it.
You only get, if you get like 10 edits a year, I think you get like, they can completely reduce your pay.
Yeah, totally.
Any company in Canada. It's federal law. Federal level. Justin Trudeau thought it was important. Federal government. That's why you don't fucking do that. That's why you prepare. I think that's good to get out there though, because that's what used to give me anxiety too, was like taking a long time to do something that I thought shouldn't. Especially like writing something like that. Like, here's just writing my notes about here's what I did, and here's like the questions I have about it, or for you, like what, you know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's like, this shouldn't take long. I should just be able, you know, but good communication does take time when you want to be clear about what you're asking, or else it just, you don't get anything out of it.
Can I pause you there for a moment? Are you watching this on your phone right now?
No.
Really? Well, hello.
Oh
to
yes,
our
I am. Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant like, am I
Hello
watching
to our
it
concurrent
actively?
viewer over there. Just one moment. I'm going to fade to black and fade right back to what we were doing. One moment. All right. One more try. All right. Hello. We are back. We are working on prototypes in Figma. Ian and I are solving a button mystery. Ian, do you know what I did?
Button
I,
mystery,
I,
what?
I left the music blasting for the first like 10 to 15 minutes that we were broadcasting. So we're just going to take a quick little restart here. And then once we upload later, I will trim off the beginning. Hello. Welcome again to Thursday nights. You're live with Nick and Ian on the Hi There Show. We're just doing a bit of prototyping in Figma, as mentioned. We're solving some mysteries. We're trying to do a cool animation for a button here. And chatting feedback. Ian, I cut you off. What were you telling me? You're like, dude, I have no idea. What a mess. How did you do that?
TLDR, take time to write messages to people and emails to make sure they're clear. And obviously, like, there's a line, but I used to be anxious about like taking too long to like write something, thinking it shouldn't take that long, but it does kind of take a minute or two or 20 or half an hour to write a message out to people, and it's important to just fucking do it.
And we're talking about the process of actually, like, I guess, like, handing in work to, like, coworkers, like, updating the Slack channel, just getting this stuff prepped, getting everyone contextualized. It's a whole effort. It's a whole huge effort. Sorry, I kind of destroyed your momentum on that one. What up, y'all? What up, YouTube? We're trying to make a button. I'll just re-explain this problem here for a second. So, in Figma, we can do cool things called an auto layout. And we'll give this button a stroke. This is just your average button on a website. Now, the cool thing that we can do in Figma is make a single component. I'll make that into a component. And put it everywhere. But it becomes a flexible item that I can move around my design. Actually, I see a problem there right now that we're going to be talking about in a second. And the graphics, I know. The graphics and all the cool stuff about that button scale with it. That's really cool. The thing we're trying to solve is, how do you nest an auto layout inside of a frame, inside of another animation? And anyway, that's where we are. We're going to be working on that tonight.
Let's, you said you had an animation.
I do have an animation. So,
did you do it? Have you done it before, or?
I've done it before. Like, I should actually.
I think if we can get the animation that you want figured out, I feel 51% confident that if we can get the animation like prototype working, then we can make it flexible again.
I can do that. I can do that right now. So,
51%. You could roll the dice on that and make money.
You could.
Invest.
Invest,
You're
everyone.
good at.
Buy crypto. Warren Buffett says, get that crypto, kids.
Don't crypto? No. That's as dumb as Pokemon.
Crypto? What do you mean, those Pokemons? Those Pokemon, the NFT monsters?
No, man. Those are different things. No, it's all the same.
His argument is that it doesn't have value.
Sonny, you see, Sonny?
You see, Sonny? I started trading apples in New York. Okay, I'm making a button. I just cracked a beer. Sorry, microphone.
Apples in New York.
In New York City, you would buy an apple for 5 cents and sell it to the suit men for 10. All right, I'm putting a rectangle up in this keys.
All right, so you're making a hidden.
There's my first thing, and I'll make a variant.
A hidden tangle.
A what?
A
hidden tangle?
Rectangle? I don't know.
Oh, I get it. I thought that was like a cool web term. It's like, a tangle cloud.
Probably is. Could make that up.
It's so fucking in right now.
We should invent a word. Try and invent a word or a term.
Like a tech term?
Like social media or like Web 2.0 or
like
what are some other ones? Just those kind of words.
What can we do with
content,
prototype? Like
marketing.
Prototypes are a new thing.
Like emotional prototype. I don't know. Something.
An emotional prototype? Yeah, that's cool.
Something like that. I'm just trying to think of like a new agey type thing.
I'm just going to put my view on here for the moment so we can see what I'm doing in the UI. So I've created a button here. We have a second version. And in that second version, that rectangle gets much larger. You can see the two of them here in the view. And we're going to create a smart animate. And what that's going to do is interpolate the differences between these two variants and create an animation. Cool. So that interaction will be while hovering. There's also on mouse enter, and we'll tell it to load up property 2. And we'll say smart animate, and we'll make it more like 80 milliseconds.
It really is a pretty smart animate. I gotta hand it to them. It's not like Figma invented the smart animate. Other stuff does it. But it's darn useful. Makes stuff look cool.
It does make stuff look cool. It works a lot like Flash used to. Create a flow starting point there, and then I will give this a bit of a dark background so you can actually see the button.
Remember,
so we'll drag out a version of this button, and we'll call it, I don't know, news. Or... Hold on, I broke my auto layout. It's not an auto layout. One moment. Oh, see,
yeah,
there's the problem. Okay,
yes,
never mind.
Yeah, that's
Hold
okay.
up.
We'll
then let's go into the prototype. We've got a flow.
After.
Ian, you can pop open that flow to see for yourself. I'm doing it on the stream. I hope it's not choppy enough or that you can actually see it, but we'll give it a go.
Vision back in the day, like where you'd upload some JPEGs and then create hotspots over top of them to make like a prototype.
Yes.
And you could do like fade and slide, and like that was it. And then
it'd
like,
slide between like whole
now you just
JPEGs.
make everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you just make everything, you design everything, and then like do like sweet prototypes in the app. Pretty good.
So if you load up that flow, you should be able to see what I mean. You can see it on the screen. It's just like a little wipe transition.
Flow 7?
Yeah. So it's a little wipe transition. That background peels over. The text changes. To me, that's interesting. And I'm actually in a position where I've got some basic transitions, and it's like, let's explore transitions and find, other avenues that we can move. Give the site a different feel. Give the buttons a sort of different weight. I think we could do even cooler things there if I just pop over to this view and actually make this background much darker. Where it starts gray and ends up black, you might actually see that. Yeah, it's got kind of a cool thing going on. So that's what I would like to do. However, I only want to do it once because I don't want to keep updating the component every time I have a different button on my navigation. Like, that feels like an inefficient way to do it. However, with the auto layout, so the thing that is containing the text could be its own frame, and that's the thing with the auto layout in it. And there's a rectangle behind it. That's thought number one.
Yep.
But the problem with that is I can make that frame that is the auto layout. I'll call this label frame. I can make that frame that is the auto layout work. So that's cool. But the container that holds the auto layout is not going to continue to grow.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, that is a problem. I'm gonna duplicate this so I can break it right away.
Yeah, go nuts.
Yeah. All right, this is a fun problem. I have no
I knew when I
idea.
came across it,
I
I
don't
was
know.
like, you might appreciate this because it's like, it's uncanny.
I absolutely
Like, it's
want to.
very
I
annoying.
don't know if it can. I don't know how to do it, but we'll play around with it. Wait, what?
Delete that second variant. And presumably that container grows. Yes, it does, based on the auto layout rules. However, the container it's in doesn't. So what is that? Is it constraints, scale?
If there's no, is there going to be icons? If there's no icons, we might be able to get away without an auto layout.
Okay.
Because
What if I want icons? Well, you can still put icons in without without an auto layout. You just need to be responsible for actually like placing them in there.
yeah. Okay, so it would be this. It would be left and right. I don't know if it could be done without an auto layout.
Right? So, oh, layout grid.
It'd be easier to do with CSS.
It would, because it would just, you don't have those sorts of issues.
If I knew CSS still. So that doesn't work. Hold on.
Another thing that you could do is make the like primary container for your button like as wide as the widest button that you're gonna have in there, but
If you want them variable, then you don't want to do that. You don't have to do that either. Let's get this up here. Let's get that. Detach this for a second. I'm gonna try and put this inside of a frame. That's not gonna be good. Put that in an auto layout.
mm-hmm.
That's not gonna work, is it? No.
Oh, like nesting auto layouts? I haven't thought about that before.
There's no way that would be. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, right? I
what's
can't
this
even, I
do?
don't even
Oh,
know like how to ask the question. Like if I were to Google it, it's like, I don't know, like how do I auto layout in auto layout that is also an auto layout? Could I give the space between objects a negative value? No. Well,
I think with an auto layout.
just slap an auto layout on there, brother.
How
Right?
how wide does this other rectangle need to be?
Initially, it doesn't matter. It could be 1 pixel white. It could be 1 pixel white. And then...
Oh,
No, but it has to fill
Yeah,
up the
you
background behind the text. It's still not going
what
to
were
be
we
able
working
to...
on? Last time that we were doing something, is it related to what we were doing before? Because I remember after you left, I actually like figured it out.
I don't think...
Oh, these things. Remember these?
What things?
these polls.
Yeah.
Forgot to say it. Yeah, I figured these polls out. I wonder if that's the answer. Is in there.
Okay.
Oh no, because they're fixed.
They don't have an
with.
auto layout. I think they're just, yeah, it's just a container with text placed in the exact same spot.
All right.
So yeah, that's a conundrum.
A variable width button with that background animation on hover.
I mean, I've got it doing that. No, don't be a part of that auto. God damn it.
Stop auto laying out.
Just don't do it. No, an object like cannot be under that and still not be. Yeah, so I don't know.
Just tweet at Figma and ask them how you change the Z layer.
Yeah, is there a Z layer option in this?
Yeah.
Z layer is like a pretty common thing in CSS that you use to achieve everything. So this is fine so long as it doesn't exceed the bounds of the button itself. Damn, yo. Well, pretty cool prototyping lesson, and I'm like, I can't figure this out. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming by. Didn't know this time.
Well, it's not over yet. Where is this bouton? How do you auto layout this? Okay, so then do that. That breaks that.
Yeah, you cannot have... Well, let's make it 1 pixel in the same.
Try this. What? How do we try this again?
Technology permits us to do very exciting things in interactive entertainment. Wave of the future, dude. 100% electronic. All I'm saying is...
Just watching your screen. Watching you go.
I need a frame for this bad boy.
Yeah.
Frames.
So, I mean, eventually, like, maybe the answer is that at the end of the day, you just gotta build custom buttons.
I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if it's for like primary navigation. But...
You know, you've got 6 items, but it would be nice if it was a portable component that would just, you know,
it's
go
just
across.
yeah, it's like fun to try and solve the problem.
Certain things are cool, like changing that background color is cool. That's easy between variants. So if I just pull that rectangle, add a new variant in there to that component. So we've got 2 goes. And we'll give it an interaction while hovering. Change to variant 2. That's not a good way to name things. And we will tell it to take 3,000 milliseconds.
I noticed none of you have been invited. How do you think you're going to exist?
Cool. Wow, 3-second transitions. Let's normalize those, dude. This could be a new trend. Transitions on websites should happen over like 5 and 6 seconds. And everyone's like, that's annoying. And it's like, no, it's avant-garde. I want my UI to be slow, like honey. No, but for real though, for anyone watching, just in that prototype menu, I can pick that arrow that it's drawn between the 2 elements and just say something like, obviously, so Ian, here's a little factoid for you. Milliseconds is like, used primarily in JavaScript and different programming languages.
Okay.
Because it's a tick. If you've ever heard that term before.
I have, but I don't know what it means.
So programming happens generally like a loop or a tick or, some sort of activity happens on a millisecond basis. So that's why you measure it. That's why we don't say 3 seconds. We say 3,000 milliseconds. That's the lamest fact ever. Thanks for listening to stuff my partner hates listening to.
Useless. We need a sound. I really gotta get that's my new mini project. Get a soundboard set up again.
Yeah. We didn't have a soundboard. I know how to monitor it now too. So we can actually hear it. Okay, let's see what you've done here.
I tried making it invisible and stuff, and that didn't work. And now I'm gonna try and make it 0 pixels wide. See what happens to that. You can still see it. Son of a. Can you though?
What? Kind of what?
Look at the prototype for Flow 8. No, you can see. It almost works, but I think it's 1 pixel. I made it 0 pixels, but it's technically still there.
I don't see Flow 8. Oh, there it is. Let's load that up. So you made it 0 pixels. Does it exist at 0 pixels? Okay.
It's still 1 pixel.
Is this in an auto layout?
Yeah.
What? Does it flex? Yeah.
Does it?
Where's the component for that? No, it doesn't. What?
Oh, because it's unfixed with.
Oh, it's not in an auto layout at all. I get it.
It was. What? Where's the auto layout then?
I see label frame. Only one of these components has a frame. How's it going to work if they're not the same, Ian?
What
It's
the heck?
not! It's never going to work!
It was an auto layout. It is an auto layout. What's going on?
I don't see it. Maybe it's just not like updating on my end or something. I don't see it. Mine is.
No,
Mine's also called button 2, which I'll call it.
Oh, here
Not button 2. So while we're talking about this, I had an idea that I wanted to use after delay to try and make a wipe animation that was kind of like kind of anime-y, like it sort of it sort of thuds at the bottom and then springs up, and then use after delay to kind of keyframe some movements happening in there. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work out, but we'll give it a go. So we'll call this one anime button. And we will get our text tool and write something. Winston. Hey, how's your cat doing, buddy? I haven't asked you tonight. How is your cat?
He's good. He's behind me, actually. He was being noisy.
I had to throw a fucking ashtray at him. It's a good font. Helvetica new. That's a good one. What do you got going on here? Sorry, I'm not focused on your screen.
It's okay.
I'm just trying to solve it. It's tough to do it and talk at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, there's too many off. I gotta get rid of.
I'm just working up on setting the bones up for my button here.
Auto layouts here, good.
And make that all
This
caps.
one.
So that's kind of a good Figma tip. You can write things holding caps lock, but what you want to do, especially when you're building a component, is actually go into the text settings and set it to all caps. Again, that's one of those style things that as you're working on the site later and spinning out more components and stuff like that, it's based in this one area where no matter what you type in it, it's always going to be capital letters.
That's the way to do it. What is? I just don't understand.
Man, I'm not working in auto lay right now. It's kind of. All right, I've got a button set up. We will add, let's create a component, and then add a variant. So when you're building variants, like when you do these kind of hover things that we've been talking about, oh, you got like a size thing going on in your current prototype. That's cool. I'm just showing everyone for the sake of it. So when you're doing these kind of hover animations, what the software is actually doing is comparing what's in one frame and adjusting it for the other. So if you have an element that needs to move, you may need to, or what's a better example? Say you have an element that goes from 0 opacity to 100, so it's invisible, and then all of a sudden you can see it. You actually need to make sure that that's in that first frame in the left here. So I've got rectangle. I will put it in my variant. I'm going to put it in my first version of that variant and then give it a pass-through value of 0. So it is there, it's just invisible. So set up that prototype.
It's
on hover.
there, but invisible.
It's there, just invisible. We don't want that to be on click. We want to, while hovering, smart animate, cut that down to 60. I'm going to put that on your flow, just so I can see it. So, you can see it on that flow now. I made my transition too quick. 1 mil. We'll make that more like 100 milliseconds. So now, because we had that element in both frames, and you can see it, so it's animating between the same object, one that has a 0% pass-through value and one that has 100% pass-through value. So completely invisible to completely visible. The transition is obviously, you can see that blur happen. And that's what Figma is doing. Like, that's how Smart Animate does it. The reason it's doing that is because we have a version in that first variant that is invisible. We could take it out, and your component is still going to work. But now you can see. Well, hold on. Maybe I need to reload my prototype here for a second. Oh, it's like fading into existence. Oh, hold on. Well, you get what I'm saying. So, I wanted this to do cool things.
Better start doing some cool things soon, Figma.
You better start getting this cool thing figured out, Figma. What do I want it to do? I kind of want that bar to blink and then shoot up, like, fwah, and then sort of disappear. So it's like sort of a pop and explode effect. Maybe we'll do one in here. Maybe it blinks. So we can do 0 again. Duplicate both of these. Yeah. And then the last version would be this. I'm actually kind of crazy about this stuff. I have to make sure that between my variants that the layer order is the same, just for my peace of mind. But you're also going to want to make sure, and if you're watching the stream and you can see it on the left, that your layer names between variants need to be the same. So if you have a text field in one that is named text field 1, and in the next variant it's named text field 25, Figma's not going to know to animate between those two elements. They need to be named the same on the left there. Ian, I don't know if you've ever come across this. I had a colleague like ask me to take a look at their prototypes, and it was the most broken thing I've ever seen. And to their credit, it was like day one using Figma, and they were really understanding like what prototypes meant, but weren't making those connections. And I'm going through it trying to help them, and it's like, why doesn't this work, and why doesn't that work, and can you help me with it? And the answer that I came up with was like, we gotta scrap all this and just build these components over again. Because once you get to a certain depth of building prototypes with 1,000 different names in it, it gets a little confusing. Wouldn't you agree, Ian? Ian?
What?
Yeah,
I made the same.
Ian listens to me, and we have a great friendship. Sorry, go ahead.
I had made the same thing, and it's the same animation as yours now. For some reason.
Like the one that we were looking at earlier, or the one I'm doing right now?
This one that's... Oh, maybe that's the same one.
Okay, no, I see you playing it. Oh, yeah, we have sort of done the same thing. But we're still trying to figure out, like, the auto layout-ish. I'm trying to make, like, a blinking thing. With a bunch of after delays. So you can link variants together in Figma with something called after delay, and it basically says when you get to this frame, when you get to this variant, just wait 20 milliseconds and fire the next animation. Let's see how that works on flow 8. Oh, cool. Ooh, it got weird. And then what I would do, so you'll notice when I fired that prototype, it stays on that last frame. And that's because in this prototype, there's no instruction telling it to loop back. So we'll create one more interaction to send it back to start, and we'll make it mouse leave. So once the mouse leaves that area, it will always just go back to the start frame. And I think if you wanted to clean that up like in a way that was flawless, you would do it to every one of these frames, which is tedious, but I'm going to do it anyway. What's that noisy animal?
Some little like rodent, I think.
Oh, sort of like a big rat. A wharf rat?
Yeah, but less intimidating.
Yeah, that's fair.
A rat I would respect.
Oh, that's what was going on. Oh, can you try my slap it button on flow 8? I think I got it, dude. I got it. I'm so jazzed.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Boom.
Beep, beep, whoop. It's sort of like a techno effect. Now, I know that Figma is super CSS accurate. This capability doesn't actually exist in CSS. You would have to write a JavaScript or something to do this, right? Maybe I'm wrong. There's CSS transitions. Maybe it's just a big wad of code. Perhaps. Well, we're about halfway through here. Want to take a fiver?
Sounds like a good plan.
We'll come back. We'll get at these cool buttons and keep explaining them as we go. Hopefully that's beneficial. Yeah. Give us a few minutes. We will be right back.
Now that we're competing with those amateurs, we can't afford to invest in little extras like story, production value, feelings. New technology permits us to do very exciting things in interactive entertainment. Wave of the future, dude. 100% electronic. All I'm saying is, I want mine.
Hey, go on, ride that horse, go on, get on down there now, it's all right.
He's reported to have disappeared while traveling in Europe in June 1969.
Yeah. I do damage to a broad's head. Under Southern Killer Cali, SF, the car's bad. Rare breed, then I hit the Panama red. The lamb's red, can't stand y'all weed, so take it personal. Worst of all, it's not the purple, no. Or the power of the sour diesel, I prefer to smoke. Burn it slow, cause the joint's so oily. Can't ignore me or destroy me, it'll take 4 weeks just to get your feet hot stepping. To a veteran who got weapons of thought. Not Thomas Jefferson or Edison. Fuck the medicine box, I'll be the grand geometrician. See your position in feeble condition. Defeating his plots, in your mind like a needle addiction. Read the inscription and key the ignition, we on a mission. All seeing eye, keep it wet like a baby Christian. Pay attention, face 80 henchmen in their division. Hostile ground, but I ain't afraid to get hit up. Get up, get up.
They take frequent trips to the moon. I notice none of you have been invited. How do you think you're going to exist?
What's that crystal thing in your hand?
Okay, we're back. I put the starting soon up instead of the be right back. So that's very cool and professional of our stream.
Live from Oakland, California.
We're back.
We were starting soon.
We were gonna start very soon.
It's not wrong.
We're prototyping Figma, making some cool buttons.
But I'm just trying some stuff. I'm trying to hide this button.
Yeah, you've got a thing going on over here. It's fun because
I just I went crazy and deleted a bunch of stuff, and now I'm at the same position where it's like just gotta scrap it, but I don't want to start over.
Come on, what is this?
Yeah,
I don't want to give up on the problem.
What about it? You think you're
it
ready
would be
for me?
cool to figure out.
Are you ready to dog to your destiny?
It would be neat to ask someone from Figma about it. I collect these things because Figma, in my mind, because Figma's really good about asking the community, like, what do you think? What do you want? And someday I'm gonna have a good one. I'm just tuning this animation. So I want a button with like a multi-stage animation, and it doesn't seem too tough in Figma. Like this after delay thing just lets me do what I need to do.
After a slight delay.
After a 10 millisecond delay, play the next frame. So I'm using.
I wonder if you could make.
Sorry.
Some super like annoying.
Like the worst button
animation
on the internet. You definitely could.
The button that just keeps moving out of the way. You could do that in Figma. You could obviously do that in the web.
Do you remember that back in the day, the original JavaScript website prank? There'd be a button and you gotta click it and it jumps around the screen. It'd be like
I don't remember ever having that.
It would be like copy and paste JavaScript that you would jam into your GeoCity site. I had one time that I had on my GeoCity site, and it would turn your cursor into like a functioning clock. And I was like, whoa, this is peak internet. We're never going to be able to do cooler things than this. Holy shit.
That's pretty high tech. I mean, at the time.
My first website had cheat codes for Duke Nukem 3D on it. What did yours have?
Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, everyone did. It was the best. You can after delay, and that should be smart animate. We'll tell it to do 10 milliseconds. That feels like it's pointing a lot, but we'll... Oh, that's cooler. Cool. This is actually relevant to me in my working life. So you had a feedback session this week. I want to go back to that. All in all, how did it go?
Good. I guess it was a no news, good news kind of situation. It was just sort of lackluster. But it was a contact page. I thought it was funny because we did an episode on contact pages.
We did do an episode on contact pages. I kind of liked that format. Like, that was like fun, where it was like, let's pick a thing, find a great example, and like try and make one. I don't know if we actually tried to make a contact page, but we did an episode about it, and that was fun.
It was relevant to me.
The user.
Recently. But the other side was too, I guess it was just straightforward. The people that asked like for a design like had a list of everything they wanted on it already, and it was good. I don't think, unfortunately, they watched our video. I don't think they were inspired by us, but I'd like to think that just my presence at the company, you know, has somehow inspired them. But yeah, they're just like, can you make this? And it's just like, you know how like it always used to be a struggle of like, well, what's the content? Like, what do you want on the page?
Yes.
And they're like, here's a list of bullet points of what we want. Here's another list of things of what we'd like to have. And I'm like, oh, great.
Okay, cool.
And I did it, and I found it actually challenging for me because I haven't done like a desktop thing in a while, and I had to do mobile and desktop, and I found it pretty arbitrary where it's like, should the hours go here or should the hours go on the other side, and then the map can go here and the address can go here. There are just so many different, like I looked up a bunch of examples and I'm like, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. So I just kind of moved it around till it fit. And then I was like, I guess this is it. And I'm like, this is just V1, so everything.
It is sort of arbitrary, isn't it? Especially when you take that first shot of like, well, we gotta make a thing. Like, we have to make a thing and put it on the internet and then measure it. If you haven't done that already, you know? Because I always say,
and
like...
it's funny because I did mobile first, and it was easy. And then desktop, I'm like, what the fuck do you do? There's too much white space. There's too much space. I just like a nice, like, list. Easy.
Yeah, you can tell when something like looks comfortable.
Phones are easier to design for. Smaller the screen, the better. Label maker. Phone designed for label makers.
We should make a smart label maker. Somehow. It prints out NFC chips that
an
are
emoji
NFTs.
printer.
An emoji printer would be great.
Emoji sticker printer.
Like just a vinyl sticker printer. Not probably. For that should have one more stage for that animation. Cool. Check out my slap it button. Neat. Multi-stager. So that's cool. I mean, it is possible to do really cool animations and stuff, but you do have to like work within Figma's framework.
That's what. Yeah.
I saw a neat one the other day where dude, he takes in Figma, he just takes a bunch of vectors and like blurs them, and then, or sorry, he takes a mash of vectors in different colors and then puts a layer over top of it with that background blur effect on it, and then slowly rotates the vectors in the background, and that behind the blur like just makes it like a perfect holding screen. Like, it looked awesome.
Is it on like repeat?
Yes.
Or loop?
Like, you would have an
That's always
animation
fun.
that turns 180 and then a frame that turns the other 180, so once it gets there, it just keeps firing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like an animated graphic background. And again, that's really cool, but you have to work within like the Figma framework to make that. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was just they should start doing that more time. Just little things.
Little experiment.
Little animations and things. Like loader. Like you could put a loader between screens in the prototype.
Yep.
Be a pain. It would turn into a massive pain in the ass because I had done it before and it is, but also looks impressive.
Well, I think that sort of harkens to another conversation we've had too, where like, at what point does it become a demo? Which I guess is tough. Like, you know, like how far do you go, like planning all the sections and all the content and all the cool animations and stuff before it's like, we should maybe just get this thing into development.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely how it is. Can you put negative margins in this?
I haven't had luck with it. Like, it will register a negative margin, but it won't actually let you. It won't actually let you do it.
Oof.
I build my own flow to put my button on. That's cool. I'm more impressed with that than I thought I would be. That different background color. Make it a flow starting point.
No more margins. Margins are bad. What about marginless buttons?
Marginless buttons? Like just could? It's a marginless button right there, baby. That's really cool. My techno-y looking button.
There's a bit of a scuffle outside.
Really? Again? Hey, Ian lives downtown, and there's just it's like a
Yeah, it's like literally
like
right there. The cat's even watching.
We should just maybe we have it wrong. Like, is design even interesting? Let's just stream out of your front door.
No one cares about design.
No, design's lame. Punching's where it's at. Punch first, design later. That's what I always say.
You gotta punch up your designs. Well,
what? So, what are you thinking? Another 120 minutes or
scrapped. No,
Scrap.
thrown in the towel.
Well,
all right.
Well, this is fun. It's good to be back from our little hiatus. We had every technical hiccup, I think, this evening that you possibly could, but, you know, whatever. We're here every Thursday.
Pretty much.
Doing it.
That's
doing it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Come back Thursday and keep designing.
You know what we say. Come back Thursday. We should do the whole rundown. If you have any questions or comments, get at us at thehitherShow@gmail.com. That's thehitherShow@gmail.com. We would love to take your questions and design things for you live on the air. We're on Twitter. We're on everything. Look us up. I don't know. We'll be back next week with a slightly tighter ship.
Ship Titan.
That's it.
Good evening. I don't know.
Good evening to you, YouTube. I'm going to stop streaming now.